And when we meet in person, we don't miss a beat. We are so lucky to live in a world where that is part of what we experience. So fingers crossed my Wi-Fi behaves. And it's a very special night. So thank you so much for joining us for the online world premiere of Dear Absent Father, a short film by the gorgeous Cheryne Blom. So this project, and this blows my mind, Cheryne will tell us a bit more about it shortly, but it began as a marketing course project, but it quickly involved and evolved into something much, much deeper. And it's a beautiful personal narrative that includes identity, absence of someone who we grow up expecting to be there for us, and it's not always the case. And of course, healing and the quiet ways that our past shapes who we become, and of course, how we can move through that. So it's not just a film screening; it's a story shared with. And I look, the word courage is used often and often lightly. People are courageous for, walking across the street, and in some parts of the world that is so true. But I use the word with the gravitas that it deserves tonight, because it does take courage to create a story like this, and invites us all to reflect. So I'm so glad that each and every one of you is here to experience it with us. Requests, if you could please keep your cameras on. If you're not comfortable, we are recording. You might have heard the very American message. We are recording. We are. If you're not comfortable, it's fine to have your camera off and just stay here and be with us. But if you are comfortable with that, it would be lovely, because we're going to get a bit of a group snapshot at some point throughout the recording this evening. So if you can keep the camera on, that would be terrific. If you can keep yourself muted, ideal. There'll be an invitation to speak a little later on for those who want to. And in the meantime, anything that comes to mind while you're hearing the conversations we're having and watching this beautiful film, just pop your comments in the chat section, and that way we'll be able to refer to them and get to know what you're going through as well, and how this film's landing with you. If you happen to have headphones handy, that would be a bonus for you. It's all going to be very listenable. Hopefully the Queensland Wi-Fi will hold and you can hear me at the moment, but with headphones you'll get the real nuance in the soundtrack. So that's just a little bit of a benefit. And as I said, we are recording tonight, so we'd love to take a screenshot at some point if you're happy to have your face. It'll be a little thumbprint. We all look super cute in thumbprints. So welcome. I would like to just thank you all once again for being here before we get started, and acknowledge the original owners and caretakers of all the lands that we are on today in all the different parts of the world where we're streaming in from. And right now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the creator of Dear Absent Father, Cheryne Blom. Cheryne is the founder of the Self Mastery Hub. She's a coach, the author of The Courage to Be You, and someone who's deeply committed to helping people reconnect with their truth, find their voice, and actually use their voice. And it's something she's done beautifully in tonight's film, a deeply personal piece of storytelling. Something you don't know, Cheryne, is that I have a background in filmmaking. So when it comes to storytelling, I think filmmaking is a very, very powerful medium for getting across the heart of the story, and the thing that we each need to share, that voice that you help people find. So Cheryne, I'd like to invite you to jump on, take the mic, and share a few words before we begin.
Oh, thank you so much, Sheridan. And I so appreciate you stepping into MC, because it's just made this night so much even more special. And again, I just want to thank everyone who is here tonight. Some of you are dear friends of mine. Some of you are tuning in from around the world, like I said before, and it means so much to me. This film became something really close to my heart, And like Sheridan said, it started off as a marketing exercise in a course that I was doing, and it turned into something deeply passionate and something that I realized sits at the heart of my work in this with the Self Mastery Hub. So it's so beautiful to share it. I also just really want to quickly thank Cheryl for moderating tonight. Cheryl, you can do a quick wave. Cheryl is moderating the chat box. And so if you guys have any questions or comments, and even just want to put a hello and let us know where you're from, would be just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, so, like I said, the story that you're about to watch came from a very personal place. And like many people, I grew up carrying questions I didn't fully understand, questions about love and belonging and worth. And many of those questions were connected to the experience of growing up without my father. And it's interesting when we talk about the absent father, because there was a present when a period of my life where he was physically absent for many years and then emotionally absent. And so, we could have a parent that's physically and emotionally absent, and it deeply can affect us. When someone we love disappears from our life, especially when we're young in those formative years, the impact doesn't always show up immediately. It often becomes something quieter. And I didn't understand this later in life, because sometimes it shows up as self-doubt, or it shows up as a guarded heart, or like a deep longing to be loved and accepted. And that's something that I was challenged with for a large part of my life, of why do I have this yearning to be loved, to be accepted, to be held? And, I'd go through moments where I was so empowered in myself, and yet going into a relationship was such a vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable, unsafe space for me that I didn't really know until much later in my life. And and so this film is not, it's not about blame. It's not about at all about blame. It's actually about forgiveness. It's about healing, and it's about remembering who we are at the core. And so, but I'm going to leave that for some final, when I do my final reflections, I'm going to go into detail about that a little bit more. But you know, it's also understanding that we have our human experiences and the stories and the beliefs, the personality traits, the coping strategies that we learn away along the way. And when we begin to understand that these patterns that we carry, the beliefs that we hold from our path are where they, like I said, they're in our past. And when we realize that there are our story that we are carrying inside, and it's filtering the way that we are perceiving the world, when we realize that and we're able to let that go, there's a sense of deep personal liberation and healing and compassion, because instead of seeing people as a threat or as an attack, instead of feeling unsafe in relationships or guarding ourselves in relationships, we can start to show up as ourselves. And and I believe that I've entered a really magnificent summer season of my life, thank you to this healing, and grateful for the work that I've done within myself. And my hope tonight is simply that this film opens a gentle space for reflection. Perhaps you will recognize parts of your own story. Perhaps it will simply invite you to look at someone in your life with a little bit more compassion. Whatever you feel while watching is completely welcome. And again, I just want to thank you so much. I also want to quickly thank someone else who's here tonight who's really special, is Paris Turner, and you're going to hear from Paris in a little bit. And unfortunately, Rachel Dunn, who is my mentor, who I did the marketing course with, is not here, but she does have a video we're going to show in a little bit. But Paris is this beautiful soul who I've known and worked with for the last few years. It's at Stride Education. And Paris helped me curate the film, and she shaped the narrative. I gave her the script, I gave her some ideas, and she just put it all together. And to this day, I've watched it so many times. It should be a viral video on YouTube, the times I've watched it. But to this day, I still cannot watch it without tearing up. So I'm just so happy that Paris can be here tonight. And yeah. And I want to also, just before we watch it, the other message is around presence. Um, I was thinking, unfortunately, my father passed away in 2018. Um, and part of me today was thinking, I wish he could have been here to watch this with me, because luckily he knew towards the end of his life how I felt about him. But if I could say something from my inner child to him tonight, and to any parent that's been absent or thinks that their presence doesn't matter, the message that I would love to have given him tonight is that your presence was all that I need. I just having you and your presence is your power. And that made me feel safe. And it was the foundation of my self-esteem and self-worth. And it could have been the foundation of my self-worth and self-esteem if he believed more in himself. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more after you watch it. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask you to take a slow breath and soften into this moment, to open your heart to watch Dear Absent Father with me tonight.
Mm. Cheryl, just before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody, if you can, if you're not watching this on your mobile, to perhaps either turn it off or pop it into flight mode. So I think it's really important with a film like this. It's a very short film, a short but powerful and ultimately uplifting piece of storytelling. So if you are in a position, just re-triggering my Wi-Fi here. Let's see if we can, hopefully you can still hear me. Just nod if you can hear me. Yeah, excellent. Here we are. If you could pop your phone in flight mode and give yourself that 5 minutes, it's only a 5-minute film, to be fully present while everybody's getting themselves ready and, just getting ready to enjoy. How about we hear quickly from Rachel Dunn? And Cheryne, you mentioned that Rachel was one of your mentors. She's a filmmaker. And she's got a special message for you this evening, even though she couldn't be here in person. So here's Rachel.
Would help if I take myself off mute. Just give us a thumbs up to let us know that you can hear it. So that would be great.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Dunn and I'm so excited to do this little short video. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I just really wanted to do this short video just to share a little bit about the importance of sharing your story. You never know the importance or some of the subjects that your life will be able to share with others. And when you can turn it into more of a short film, there are so many things that you can do. You can put it in the short film circuit. You can use it in so many ways because it helps people to connect to you on such a deeper level when you can share in quite a cinematic way. And Cheryne has done such a beautiful job with this short film. I love, love, love it. It really resonated with me, the subject matter, and I know this is going to resonate with so many people out there once she gets it out there. So this is the first time she's screening it, which is awesome. And I just want to say a little bit about the process, because when I was helping Cheryne and coaching her through this, it's hard to tell your own story and find a piece of your life that's going to impact others profoundly. So we did some work on finding that subject matter, and Cheryne picked this beautifully. And then we went through the process of writing out that script. And it's bloody hard to write your own story, especially knowing, does it have the emotional pull? Does it have the character arc? Does it have the nuances that you want a short film or a feature film to have? And because we run a feature film company, we read scripts every single day, and we look at stories. It's a big part of what we do. What makes a good story? What can improve a story to make it a best, a blockbuster or something like that. So there is many facets that you may not see at first that go into creating a short film, or any film for that matter. And beyond the script, once you've got that script, then it's about finding the shots and the video footage that's going to support that story, and not just anything, but something that's going to really take your production level to that next level. And there are so many subtleties with films that you may not even notice that make the emotional connection with an audience. And they could be simple things as sound design, music choices, the spacing, the message itself, the length of the short film as well. So there's many things to think about. That's why it's really hard to do by yourself. And I just want to say Cheryne is a natural when it comes to storytelling and doing things for screen. I hope she does so many more of these, because they are fantastic marketing pieces, as well as impact pieces, and as well as little short films. And I love to treat them like that, because they just have a different energy about them than just lots of endless spam or reels that can be out there. It can be very overwhelming. So I just wanted to come in, say congratulations, have a great night. And yeah, I can't wait for you to get this out there, Cheryne. It's a long time in coming, and I know that so many people are going to resonate with it. Bye.
And that was the fabulous Rachel Dunn. You're also going to be hearing from Paris Turner, who's someone who helped curate the film as well. So you'll be hearing from Paris after we watch Dear Absent Father. So thank you to Cheryne and to Rachel. And I think we're ready now. So this is where we invite you to settle in, to experience the premiere, the world first watching of Dear Absent Father. We'd like to encourage you to watch it as you would if you were in the cinema. We're having a little trouble with the sound there. Oops.
I'm just going to ask everybody just to put themselves on mute, if you can, just to make sure you're on mute, because so we don't have background noise. But are we all ready to go, Sheridan?
No
Can I put it on?
I believe we are pretty much ready to go. Let me just say that, can everybody hear me for starters? Hear me at the moment? Or are we having trouble with the sound? Can you hear Cheryne? I'll turn my camera off and make sure my microphone's still on.
Can you guys all see it
we've
on
got
screen?
a little bit of
Okay, awesome. Well, I will start. I will press play. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it.
You gave me a colorful childhood. I grew up in a world overflowing with prosperity. The City of Angels was a playground of opportunity. Dance studios, recording booths, auditions. I was shy, uncertain about my frizzy hair and awkward looks. But I had a dream to entertain, to make people happy. My path was opening. Small Disney appearances, recording studios, auditions. Then my world came crashing down when you left. You were my anchor, my Sunday walks on Venice Beach, my safe place. And suddenly, you were gone. I remember that night, Halloween. We were trick-or-treating with my best friend and her dad, and she begged me to stay over. But you insisted I come home. We need to talk, you said. I didn't want to hear it, but I had no choice. Your absence left a wound I didn't know how to fill. That pain twisted into something else. Rage. A rage that led to reckless choices. Drinking, drugs, meaningless relationships, chasing love in all the wrong places. Eventually, that rage became deep self-loathing and depression, leading me into the arms of an abusive relationship. I thought I had found love. I clung to it, terrified of being alone. I lost myself completely. No boundaries, no self-worth, just an endless cycle of pleasing others at the cost of my own soul. Until, in my 30s, I broke. I prayed for death or divorce, not knowing how I could ever leave. Life had not turned out the way I had planned. My flame had burned out. And then, a whisper, a quiet voice urging me to love myself more than I craved being loved, to stop seeking a man to define my worth. That whisper became a calling. I had to free myself. Through deep healing, forgiveness, and inner work, I released the anger and resentment that weighed me down. I no longer saw you as the father I needed you to be, but as the man who struggled. I stopped needing your love and approval to validate my own, and I realized something life-changing. No one can love me more than I can love myself. For the first time, I let myself free. I let go. And in that surrender, something returned. Lightness, playfulness, joy. But I had one final battle, my fear of rejection. I had spent my life pushing love away, searching for proof that I would be hurt. How could love ever reach me when I wasn't even open to seeing it? When I let go of the need for a man to complete me, I set myself free. And in that freedom, I found true love. In my 50s, I met a magnificent man. Not a savior, not a security blanket, but a partner. A love built on strength, not fear. A power partnership where we uplift each other instead of clinging for safety. These days, my purpose speaks louder than my fears. I want to remind others that they already hold the love they seek. We spend our lives searching outside of ourselves for proof that we are enough. But when we release that fear, we discover the truth. We are made from love, and our truest self is love. And I finally understand. Love is not something you chase. It is something you become.
People to this across the screen. Wow, how
Well, there
beautiful,
you
how
go.
beautiful. Cheryne, how did it feel watching that in that process as you're walking?
It felt really great. It felt emotional. It's like I said, I can't watch it without tearing up. It's really something so close to my heart, and I'm just so honored um, that I have all of you with me because you I can see so many of you that I've known for so long, and it's wonderful to share this, and I really hope that it has touched you and that you have felt the same and felt the power of the message. Yeah. And I'm actually looking at everyone on screen now, and I can see there's a very special person that from Switzerland who she knows who she is. And if she is comfortable, sorry, Sheridan, this isn't
That's
in our
okay.
running
It's
sheet,
your night.
but I do see that this beautiful Catherine is on the screen, and if Catherine is happy to come on camera, I'd love to introduce her to you as well. And Catherine, if you're not comfortable, because I've just thrown you into this, that's okay too. But ah, hey, Catherine, are you okay with me? Because this is something I did not expect tonight, and so I'm so surprised. So can I share our
Sure. Can I share our? Sure.
so
So,
everyone, I'd like you
everyone,
to
I'd
meet
like you to meet
Catherine.
Catherine.
There is
There
a
is a
go maybe because
go maybe because
I'm not quite sure
I'm not
why.
quite sure why.
Um,
Um,
are you guys
are
hearing
you
an echo
guys
as
hearing an
well?
echo as well?
It may be
It may be.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of a wild
okay,
echo.
maybe good. But oh, you come in as well. I've also got another surprise here. Another person's come to join. You can come sit right next to me. But I am going to really quickly share because Catherine, um, is Catherine lives in Switzerland, and Catherine and I, well, we met a long time ago, but just over a decade ago, we found out that we are half sisters. And so that may need to be the plot for another film. That may be
Love
the next short
this.
film, but I did not know that you were going to be on the call tonight, and it's just so it actually I'm so shocked, and it's so wonderful to see you, and and I hope that this has meant something to you too.
Absolutely. I go unmute for a minute, and it was really a pure coincidence. It's early morning here, still in Switzerland, so I'm really not made up. But I was like, I need to tune in. Luckily, it's a Sunday, so we're not on the ski slopes. We have a calm day in Geneva, so we're just spending the weekend here and celebrating birthdays. So it was a pure coincidence that I woke up early in the morning and looked on Facebook and I saw your post and I was like, I need to sign in. I think we got a lot in common on this subject. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and I think
and
that
I think that
if
if
you're
you're
comfortable
comfortable
sharing
sharing when you found out
you found
when
out
you
my
found
dad
out my dad when we
dad.
shared a dad.
I didn't catch all the question. Can you say it again?
Yeah, you may need to put
You may
yourself
need to
on
put
mute.
yourself on mute.
Okay.
For some reason it's echoing, but what I was going to say, if you're comfortable to share with everybody when you found out that we shared a father.
Well, I think it goes back to late 2008, 2009. And I mean, as you said, probably that would be not a short film, but a feature film by itself. My journey to be able to actually find out, because I was 33 years old when I found out myself after the death of my mom. And me thinking that the father I grew up with was my father, and then learning that, you know, Alan is your dad, my dad, biological dad. So he was not just absent, he was not even present. I had to find him. And with finding him, for example, finding you and the story surrounding it. And I think there are so many crosslinks. And what resonated for me, most of it was that he was struggling. So oftentimes from what I learned is that it's not our mistake. It's honestly their mistake. They are looking there to find their way, and maybe they can't do it on an honest way as we are trying to do it. And so it gets really messed up. And I think that mess up is people like you and I who really try to go the profound way and search for the roots. It takes a bit longer, but once we reach it, it's rocket solid. And what the nice beauty about it is that we can pass it on, like you did now with the film, being honest, sharing the story, because I think it kicks the ones that are struggling with being honest to maybe go one step further and try to be.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It means so much to me that that you've been here and that you were able to share this with me. So thank you. And Sheridan, I'm gonna pass it back to you. And I've got somebody else that's just come to sit down next to me, but I'll let you carry on, and then I'll introduce them a little bit later.
Oh, look, truth is stranger than fiction, and you know, this moment is not something that you could dream up. So, what a beautiful plot twist, and thank you so much to your beautiful half sister for being with us tonight. I think we're all blown away by that. But back to the film. An absent father, a missing father. Wow, thank you to everybody for sharing this with us tonight. Some stories some stories ask us to look back, and others actually invite us to understand ourselves a little more deeply. And I think tonight's film does both of that. It certainly does for me. Had an absent father. He was present physically, emotionally absent, and these days a heady mix of both. So I'm sure I'm not the only person tonight who's reflecting on that beautiful film, and then of course the extraordinary plot twist. But I would like to acknowledge Paris Turner, who curated the film and worked really closely with Cheryne in shaping this final piece. Paris played a really important role in bringing the story to life in film. So now, perhaps Cheryne and Paris could both join me for a short conversation about the film and the creative journey behind it, because, oh my goodness, I mean, that's 5 minutes that packs a punch. First up, Cheryne, creating something this personal. You know, I've used the word tonight, and I'll use it again and probably again every time I think of this film. It does require courage. What was the moment in your life that you realized this is a story that needs to be told, and that you were indeed ready to share it?
Oh, it's a great question. First of all, I want to introduce Jeff, who starred in the film, and we'll
Oh,
I thought it'd be very special that I know he's not as extroverted as I am, so it means a lot to me that he's come to sit down next to me.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for making time to support Cheryne and watch her movie. Yeah, it's only 5 minutes, but I'm really proud of her. I saw the amount of dedication she had to making the movie and the amount of effort it took to make it. Uh, um, and I think it's, yeah, really brave and courageous to make such a movie and share it with the world. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
no, thank you.
Mhm.
And to answer your question, Sheridan, it actually came to me a few years ago, as a book that I started writing. Well, those that know me know that I have about 20 books that I've started writing, and one that actually completed. But my own daughter had her journey with a difficult relationship with her own father, unfortunately, as the generational story continued. And when I had the idea for the book, it was really, the message was really to let every father know how important their role is, particularly to their daughters. And that the bit like what Katrin said before is that one of the most profound learnings that I had in my own personal development was seeing my father as a man, not as my father, but as a man that was really struggling within himself. And I know that Sid is on the line, and Sid was a dear friend of my dad's as well, and Katrin as well, who got to know him. He was a very complex, dynamic, unbelievable man. But what I really, why I wanted to really share this in the moment, and when Rachel said to me, do you have an idea for a film, I had this script that fell out of me, one of those 1 a.m. moments. It fell out of me and I was like, this is the film. It's not a book, it's going to be this film, and it's a message of peace to my father and to myself, because like I said at the end, the real recognition is realizing that the story that we're not good enough is one of the most global untruths. And if it's one thing that I could give everybody in the entire world, is the knowledge that we are love. And like I said, it's not about something to chase, it's who we become, and it's what we return to, that knowing that self-love is not something that we say, oh yes, I love myself. Self-love is the knowing that the innermost essence of ourselves is love. And true empowerment and self-mastery comes when we are able to express love and express ourselves as love instead of the fear and the ego.
I love that you shared that moment of recognizing that a parent is a whole human being. They're a whole person, and being a father or a mother is one part of it, but it's a whole human being. And I think when we come to that moment where we see our parent as more than mother, father, what I want, what I need, as a whole person, there's such healing there. And then the self-love, beautiful. Paris, can I invite you to jump on the mic and on the camera and tell us how you felt, or what happened for you when you came across this project and knew it was something that you wanted to be part of?
Well, as Cheryne mentioned a little earlier, my first introduction to this project was through the written script, and it did immediately have a strong emotional impact on me. I'm someone that needs to feel a personal connection to the work I'm involved with, and probably what struck me most about it was just how common and relatable of an experience Cheryne's story is for many women, all ages. I think even if you don't identify with the entire narrative, there's definitely themes, whether it's self-doubt, self-destruction, feeling stuck in the same cycles, that I think are relatable to everyone's lives at one point or another.
Beautiful. During the creative process, and I'll ask this of both of you, I might start with you, Paris, since you're on the mic at the moment. Can you recall a moment that was really powerful or perhaps connected for you emotionally during the creative project, during that process?
Hard to single out a single moment, but I think being in the editor's chair, you become kind of hyper familiar with the project by the time you reach the end, and you become really emotionally invested in a way that you otherwise might not have if you were only engaged on a superficial level. And it's quite emotionally cathartic in a way, seeing it through from the beginning and, finding the moments along the way where you can see yourself reflected as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Paris. And Cheryne, is there a moment in looking back at that creative process where you felt something that allowed you to perhaps really understand why it became so important to share this journey?
Yeah, I think that healing requires courage, and doing self-development requires courage, and self-actualization requires courage. And I think that there's, like Rachel said, there's a lot of power in storytelling, that to share a story that relates to so many people can share. Obviously, not the exact narrative, like Paris was saying, um, but the point of liberation, like I said before, that we can free ourselves of the stories that haunt us, and the self-doubt that haunts us, and the constant not feeling good enough, and the constant searching outside of ourselves. And that's for me, at the core of what my work is that's what I want every single person that watches the film, and who I work with, that they are connected to the essence that they have within themselves, and they know that magic, and they know what the truth is, because these stories that we hold are actually false perceptions. So we live our lives seeing the world through a distorted lens. And so one of the most magical thing about healing, and the best definition of healing is that I heard, is that healing is to become whole again. And I think that's so beautiful, because when we forgive, really forgive, and when we are able to see a situation in a different light and see it for how it is, then we're able to live in truth, not illusion. And I think there's a lot of power in opening ourselves, and especially in the way that the world is right now. I think we are all hungry for truth and evolution and love and peace. Yeah.
Beautiful. And while we can't always have as much influence as we'd like on, the events of the world, especially things that are happening far away, we can look within and work on healing some small part of ourselves that becomes so much more and adds to that, that world story. Paris, what is it that you hope audiences might take away after watching Dear Absent Father?
I was speaking to my partner about the film today, and he offered an interesting perspective that is a little different from what we've kind of shared today so far. We sort of spoke about how I think now more than ever, for people of all ages, there's so much pressure to have everything figured out, regardless of your past trauma and your past struggles, or what might be going on in your life that people are unaware of. And as I touched upon earlier, I think so many people can relate to this film in the sense of feeling stuck, or feeling held back by your past experiences, or stuck in cycles of trauma, or feeling behind. And what I think this film really excels in is giving that reminder that it is never too late to find healing and turn a new chapter, turn a new leaf, and find love and peace, because you never know what's around the corner, and things can really come out completely unexpected and change the entire course of your life.
Thank you. It's a beautiful reflection. Thank you, Paris. And Cheryne, one of the things that really struck me was the way this film is crafted. The focus is very much on your journey, and blame wasn't part of it. We didn't get to know even why Dad left. That's his story. What is it you hope people will take away after watching this?
Well, I think it's that. And Lynn actually just posted something in the chat, that it's not only about forgiving others, about forgiving ourselves. And I think that my beautiful darling friend Sid, who's on the call, 17 or so years ago, gave me the book A Course of Miracles. And I've been studying it ever since, more intensely for the last 4 or 5 years. And I think what I have learned is the power of forgiveness in setting ourselves free. And that it's not necessarily about letting someone off the hook, because sometimes people do awful things, right? That you can say are unforgivable, but that forgiveness is about compassion, and forgiveness is about understanding, and forgiveness is knowing that we're always doing the best that we can with the resources that we've got. And I look back at my own parents, and I was really hoping my mum was going to be on the call as well tonight, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. But I look back, my parents were so young when they got married, and you know, the reality is my dad gave me a very exciting life. Like I've been blessed really. I grew up in Los Angeles, as you saw. Um, I had the world there at my fingers, and when I look back now, I can see that what my child may have thought because he left and he didn't love me was so not true. That he was offering the world to me. And I think one of the biggest shifts that I had was knowing that the person that I am today, the independence, the evolution, the soulfulness, um, sometimes wisdom, um, but the depth that I have
Lots of
today.
wisdom, lady.
The depth I would say that I have today is all from the tapestry of our lives. And so I think that's the other thing about forgiveness is that we learn that everything is in perfection, that life is always happening for us, not to us. And that would be a very special message that I would want everybody to hold in their hearts.
Oh, that's the one I'm going to hold on to. Life's happening for us, not to us. That's beautiful turn of phrase there. So before we close, and we are getting close to the end, but we'd love to invite you to have a reflection. I'm going to pose a few questions that you might jump on camera and say hi and reflect upon with Cheryne. Or you might just want to write in the chat. And Cheryl's here in the background. I'm still astounded that we've got a Sheridan, Cheryne, and Cheryl on this call, putting it all together for you. But she's going to read through some of your questions in just a moment. But if you just want to take a moment and center yourself again, and some of those images from the film and the foot, the feet going through the water, the beach there, just beautiful. Some of those images keep coming back to me, but I'd love you to share in the chat as I ask a few questions that might help with your reflection. What moment in the film resonated with you the most? Did the film bring up any reflections about perhaps your own story, your own experience, your own family, your own younger self?
Mary's come off mute. Oh, it's so nice to
Right?
see you, Mary.
Lovely to see you, Cheryne. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I procrastinated a lot to join because it was such a long time ago. But what resonated for me the most strongly was actually describing the moment of realizing that your dad was leaving, because that still resonates with me. I was 5 and I'm a lot older now, but that still really touches me, and I've still got a visceral memory of those moments. Which, I mean, a lot has happened since then, but I really appreciate that you went there. So thank you, Cheryne. And obviously everybody's story is different and time passes, but I really appreciated that, and the feelings that you kind of ranged through, including the rage and the yearning, I really resonated with. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mary. And I'm sorry that you felt that and experienced that. Um, I think that, these moments hold trauma in us. And for so much of my life, I didn't realize like why was I so scared of abandonment? Why did I guard up all the time? And why did I see like even in a relationship that it was a space of threat? And I think it's when we hold, like you said, this really visceral feeling of leaving, because it really I was 9 when my dad left, and it was really, it's one of those things where it just kind of the carpet feels like it's pulled out from under you, like he just left and he was gone for a few years before I saw him again. And so you're left as a 9-year-old, as a 5-year-old. We don't have the intelligence, we don't have the wisdom to understand what we do now, and you're left questioning. And you're left with a really deep wound that, you know, that we understand now, the power of being wounded. But yeah, I think it is something that stays with us for always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Cheryl, did you want to perhaps read through some of the messages? There's been some beautiful messages coming through right since the beginning of our conversation tonight and the beginning of the movie preview, and now there's some really beautiful reflections coming through and lots of heart emoticons too. So I'll hand it over to you for a moment, Cheryl.
Yeah, hi. So just background,
Hi.
Cheryne and I've known each other since high school. We met when Cheryne just left LA and went back to South Africa. And we became very good friends in high school, and we have been ever since. We had a bit of a gap between having kids and living in different countries. I was in the UK and Cheryne in Australia. And she's just the most beautiful soul, and we've been on such a beautiful journey together. And I'm just so grateful and thankful to have her as a friend and as a mentor as well, and someone who I can just bounce things off. And I always walk away from our interactions feeling so much happier, brighter, and full of energy once I've been in her space. And also, I just have to say as well that Jeff, it's just been amazing getting to know you, and just the happiness that you've brought into Cheryne's life. And I know she hasn't relied on you for happiness, but the enrichment that you've brought into her life, and the things that you share together and the adventures that you go on. And you're both amazing parents to your big extended family. And just I've never seen her so happy, and just it's wonderful. So just had to quickly put in my 2 cents worth. So some of the
Beautiful.
comments that have come through after your movie was beautiful, Cheryne. Thank you for sharing, from Kate. From Sydney, absolutely beautiful. Kim said, very powerful, amazing work, Cheryne. And then Kate said, plot twist with your sister arriving, which was so amazing and wonderful. Sharon said, this is so inspiring. It's an amazing piece. Thank you so much for sharing, Cheryne. Sydney, love that he's here with you, Jeff. And Lou said, me too. Lynn, as you read out earlier, said, I think it's not about forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves, which is so true. And Kim loved the end message and the visual of you at the end of your movie. Vicky said, I always idolized my father, but after the end of my own marriage, I realized that it is simply human. And whilst I appreciate his opinion, I no longer need his blessing. Lynn said, I felt such sadness at your sadness, your sense of devastation when your father left. Certainly the desire for death or divorce absolutely resonated, as I went through similar. Katrine, sharing is caring. Yes, the stories might differ, but I think we all have more in common than not. That's why elements of emotions touch us all mutually. In German, we say a shared problem is half a problem, and that's what should give us all the courage to open up and be honest, firstly within ourselves and then with others. It seems scary, and yet the positive results that will follow are worth it, in my opinion. I think you both have a beautiful way of writing. It's in the genes. And Sydney wrote, what a powerful expression of awareness of self, Cheryne. The beautiful truths you have come to now blesses all of us and will continue to do so. I love you and you too, Kat. So those are the beautiful messages.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryne, wow, we're getting close to the end here. Where to from here? And, I can hear your joy in tonight and everything that's unfolded in the last hour.
Yeah, and I really just want to say thank you again. And if everybody's happy to start again, I'm happy to start again and do it all again because it's like, oh my God, it's 8 o'clock already and we're done. So I want to thank you so much for taking your Sunday or wherever you are in the world. Sid, I think it's sometime in Saturday, the middle of the night or something, and I never can follow that time on the other side of the world. And Catherine, really special that you were able to log in. Um, you know, I just want to end with just a few other words of for many of us, healing doesn't begin with having all the answers. It begins with simply beginning aware and becoming aware of the stories that we've been carrying. And when we bring compassion to those stories, we begin to reclaim our power and write a new chapter. And so, if tonight stirred something within you, please know that you don't have to navigate this journey on your own. Over the years, I've created spaces where people can safely express and explore these patterns and begin rewriting the beliefs that were formed earlier in life. And I really want to extend this conversation, and I'm going to invite you guys in the next couple weeks to join me in a follow-up masterclass called Rise into Wisdom, where we can go a little bit deeper into the healing of this practice and how we can heal. And so I'll definitely be sending you guys out some information on that, and would love to see anybody who wants to join in. Would love to see you. Um, but tonight is really about awareness. It's about reflection and honoring all the stories that have brought us here. And so, I want to thank you guys again for being here. I want to thank Jeff for being here and for coming into my life. As Cheryl said, he's definitely made a beautiful, happy chapter. It's a really magnificent time of loving in midlife, especially when you've done the work and you've healed, and we can have fun and play lots of golf together. He introduced me to golf, and now I'm stuck playing golf, and yeah, now he has to suffer watching me golf. So again, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank you for your comments, for your openness, for sharing, and for the courage that it takes to look at your own stories. Because awareness is truly the beginning of transformation. So thank you again. Thank you so much, Sheridan. I'm so grateful that you emceed it. You took it to another level. Katrin, Sid, Kim, Jack, everybody, I like everybody here. You just mean so much to me. Paris, again, thank you so much. I think we've got another story that's come out of tonight. So I will be in touch on a next one.
The sequel. Well, thank you so much for your bravery, your courage, your dedication to bringing this about, because filmmaking it's big. And, the editing process with Paris and Rachel and the mentoring and everything that goes into 5 minutes that can be this powerful. So, there's more coming. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's coming down the pike. So thank you to everyone who's been here tonight for being part of this world premiere for Dear Absent Father. So this movie is actually now live on YouTube. So what I would love, and I'm sure Cheryne would love too, would be absolutely brilliant if you could jump on YouTube, just type in Dear Absent Father, you'll find it. There's a link in the chat, I believe. And if you could just like it, comment, share it with your friends, share it with anyone who you think might resonate, share it with your enemies. We all are human, and we all have a human experience, and we never know where that self-compassion is going to come and what moment is going to trigger some understanding and some compassion. Cheryne's also, as she just said, she will email you about the masterclass. It's next week. Gosh, it's coming around quickly, isn't it? Just after a week and a bit. Rise into Wisdom, the masterclass on March 24. So you'll get an email about that. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me in, Cheryne. It's been an absolute delight and an honor to MC the evening and be with you all. Wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful evening. Jump on YouTube when you get a chance and like, comment, and share Dear Absent Father. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, everyone.